Okay. Well, got to make sure everything's looking good here. I want to make sure I can hear everybody. I'm going to wait for a second while I get some of my scenes shot set up. I think we'll be good on that. Double checking things. Camera 2, camera 3, camera 4. Bada bing, bada bing. What is going on, everybody? Good evening. I was supposed to do this live this morning. Nobody knew about that, but I did. I was trying to do this live, so I'm going to do it this evening. I've got a new package from Anson, and we're going to do a little unboxing. I do know there are some door lords in here because I had the first batch of the door lords, and so now I got some shiny, nice, super polished, clean door lords. That's not why I'm really here to show you guys about the door lords. I've got some new end games, the new handles that go on top of there. I want to talk about some light reflections. A lot of people have a question about how do you look at the light? What's the difference between the 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch lines, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to give you a little demonstration about that. I'm going to talk about the different boards too that are out. Some of my top 3 favorites that I use. Nothing against anyone else. I probably haven't used those lights, but I use lines majority of the time. I do use fog as well. Matter of fact, I did a really nasty dent the other day. I couldn't even see it with the lines, so I had to switch to fog, and the fog really helped me see the bottom of the dent when it was really tight and messy. Anyhow, I think it's a good idea for most people to learn a bit about different reflections. I know there's pretty much only 2 main reflections, right? Lines and fog. So we'll get into that as well. I do want to try to see if I can read if you guys' comments are coming through. So yes, I do see it. So how you doing there, Lane? I'm going to drop you in here, see if I can get you to flip in here. I'm using my gloves too right now. So yeah, there you go. How's it going, Lane? I'm doing good, bro. I appreciate that. And let me see if I can get Gilbert in here. What's up, Gilbert? How you doing, buddy? Watching from Calgary, white tinting. Wow, man, I'm Mr. Hard Worker, dude. Mr. Hard Worker. I'm a beginner. I tried your light. It makes me dizzy. I don't see the tip of my tool. Yeah, I get it. So a lot of people are, may not be able to understand. I'll show you a little demonstration, but meanwhile, let's talk about some of the tools. I want to kind of get into the tool options here, and let's talk about the tools. I got these tools. Let's do some unboxing here. All right. I want to cut myself. They package it well. I noticed that they got, look at this, they got the branding on their boxes now. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so, ooh, new glue. Check that out. Check that out. Dent poppers. Hanging Honey PDR hot glue. So I'm assuming this is Willie Quick's new glue. Can't wait to check this out. Wow, it's got a little honeycomb, like you can barely see it in the package, I don't know, but there's like a little honeycomb design in here, very light. Dude, you guys do some awesome packaging, man. Like this is legit. Whoever does the artwork for packaging is definitely on point, on point. So what do we got here? Okay, I didn't know. Look at this. We got some door lords. All right. Look at this. This is probably my most famous one I use. Not actually famous. The most used one I use. This is the 22-inch door lord. That's really good. I'm going to be using that a lot. Okay, we got maybe a 27-inch door lord. Let me right there. It's pretty nice. This is probably more mid-range towards the bottom of the door tool right here. Lots of kick, really thick, really thick. We got some door, like, okay, this is probably, if I was a beginner, I'd probably pick the 20, I think this is a 26 inch or 27 inch. That's probably maybe 22. I don't know. Like, I have to get, I'm so bad at freaking knowing those lengths, but let's say this is the middle one right here. This is the go-to right here. If I had to pick one, this is probably the one I'll use the most because I can get a little bit past the mid-range of the door. I can definitely get to the top. I'm gonna have to angle it though, but I'll show you guys that in a minute. So door lords, look how like nice and detailed that is right there. Damn, it's getting shiny. I'm shining, man. Okay, really good tool. Now we're getting into the sharps, right? Look, they're even poking everything here. Those sharps these are legit for pushing out your final bits and pieces. Aluminum, they're just legit. Okay, very good, very good. I thought I had some end games here, but maybe I guess not. So I don't have any end games here, but I do have one end game. And where is that sucker at? And I'm going to show you guys. Really, the main thing I was going to show you guys here is let me get to my scene here. Is this one right here. So this is the end game I'm generally talking about right here. Watch this. That one right there. All right, we're gonna get into. I'm gonna show you personally what it is. All right. Actually, let me go here. That way you guys can see. Those are the tools that you're using. That is the handle that pairs with it. Okay, and here's the handle right here, right like that. Get my face out of the way. Actually, let me go this one. It'll be better if I show you this way. So the end game pairs on. Push this button, clicks in. Push this button, you rotate it. Now I've done lots of videos about how this works, right? But this, and then I put the extension on, right? So you can have some power with that. Pull that off. Bada bing, bada bang. Matter of fact, let's get into some of this. I actually want to tape my tool. So when I tape a tool, right, this is how I do it. I split the gaffer's tape. It's about 4 inches. And see how I overlap just the edge of it? I'll show you what I mean, like that. Not a lot. All right. So let me do that. This is how we're going to tape it. I'm going to overlap right here. All right. I'm going to bring this over super tight. Keep that line. And I guarantee you tape like this tape will last a lot, and you're having a soft tip. You have a soft tip for your blade tip tool. Look how nice that is. Yeah, anti-dent dent club. All right, but here, that is called a proper tape job right there. It's kind of like, you know, an athlete, they got to have their ankles taped a certain way. Same with the tip. You got to have the tip definitely taped this way. Otherwise, it's going to come apart, and then when you side load a little bit of it, that tip is going to bust through and cause little high spots. So this is why I like this. Okay. So I'll put the end game on. Rotate it. Now check this out. I like to rotate it. See, this is the wrong way personally, because I'll show you in a second. What you really want to do is have it angled. So when you are pushing, let me show you that. Watch this. You're putting it in, right? Now while I'm twisting, my wrist stays straight. Okay, it stays nice and straight. And then you can have a lot of power to push on that dent. So that's why That's why I pretty much prefer the tool to be more angled. And this is what gives this such an awesome option, because all you have to do is press that button on the fly while you're working, instead of taking it out or taking the whole thing off and then trying to find that one little notch that you want. Now you just got to push that button, right? And bada bing, bada bang. I'll answer some of those questions too, as well as we go into that. Sorry, I had you on the wrong screen. But nonetheless, you guys get what I'm talking about. Let's get into the demo. Oh, before I get into the demo, Anson, thank you for sending me updated tools, because the first versions weren't even polished like they were now. These are fully polished, fully nice, so we will help get used to those. Let me move this out of the way. I do want to talk a little bit about reflection boards. I want to give my take on the boards I use. And one of the first boards I'm going to talk about now, and you're probably familiar with it already, is the Stucky tools, right? So this is the Stucky tool light. My battery literally went out, and I've had it for a long time. It finally went out, so I won't be able to turn it on. Regardless, if I turn it on anyway, it's going to be super bright in the screen. But it's very thin. It's a real thin line board, really thin. I have 1/8 inch lines on here. I think, as an experienced PDR tech, am I getting a little too pixelated? Everybody, you guys still seeing my screen all right? I just want to make sure. I better come down here just a bit. I might be moving too much. Beginner tried to go. Okay, all right, cool. So anyways, we'll just roll with it. Oh, I know what it is. The camera doesn't like the lines. Look at that. It's like, what the hell am I looking at? So the 1/8 inch lines gives you a ton of detail, right? Rather than being 1/4 inch lines, 1/8 inch lines gives you everything in the kitchen sink. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. But as an experienced tech, I like this because it helps me finish cleaner, way cleaner, helps me see the detail as I'm going. So 1/8 inch lines, for me, is the way to go. This is a Stucky light. They are known for their fog lights. This is a very good light. It also has a lot of options on the back, right? So you can actually pop this off and pop it in here. There's a little plug, snaps on, unplug it, plug it back in, put your lock line back over it, and then you have some buttons here for that, okay? He's also got a cross trainer light, which is this one. Super thin, nice rubber right around it. This time it's got more of a clicky buttons, right? Switch buttons and a dimmer right here, okay? Now the one we'll be using right now, let me take this off. This one, let me just turn that off because I don't want you guys to get blinded. This is the Illuminate light, okay? This one, the options with this one are a lot. You have a lot of options with this one because, first of all, you have a spinal cord here, which if you open it up, you can actually, which I highly recommend right off the bat, and I still need to do it myself, but you want to adjust the spinal cord because it comes very stiff. At least for me it did. And you want to make sure it's not too stiff, otherwise you'll be snapping your light off all the time, specifically the base or the back part right here, okay? Now, one of the cool things about this light, let me see if I have, what did I do with my reflection board, if I put it up or not. Right, this one is a 1/4 inch lines. Now, on this side right here, you can flip the opening and you notice there's some slots right here. So you can actually take this off, right, and then just switch it with another 1/8 inch lines, 1/4 inch lines. For you fog guys, you would probably want it closer, right? You can make it sharper, or you can make it more broad, your fog, if you go up here. But for line guys, I recommend you put it further away because these LEDs will cause what you call it dead spots between the lines. So the further away it is, the better. Snap that in. Now you got yourself a really cool setup. And for us veteran techs, what we like to use is 1/2" lines on big smashes. So I have a board that you can switch for 1/2" lines. They're like that fat. It helps tremendous. So if you're a line guy, use 1/2" lines for big smashes in the beginning. Start going smaller lines as you go. And then when you get to the final finishing work, you probably want to go 1/8" lines. Or if you're really good, you're going to use 1/8" lines most of the time. Joe Dent Evo is a 1/8" line, 100% full-time 1/8" lines. Shane Rose's, I think, is a 1/8" lines, which is all-out dent. So this kind of gives you a way of why the lines that I look at help you make sense. Now, we're not done yet showing you. I'm going to show you one more thing about how those lines work. So let me go to the main part right here. So setting up the board, right? This is the biggest thing I see with techs do. If the dent is right here where you see in this section, let me do this. Let me see if I can get this going. Oh, I don't have my light, so you're going to see this light turn on. Actually, let me just do this for now. So if I set up my board and my dent is here, I don't want to put my suction cup here because now I'm fighting with the lock line up and down, over and over. And I'll show you what I mean. I'll just turn this thing on. So if I have this board here and my dent's here, I'm doing this to get it in my position, right? I don't want that. I either want the board up high or low, and I want the lock line to be coming up straight or coming down straight. Meaning like this. Here, now I can tilt my board down like that. I'm not putting any extra pressure or causing anything to pop or break in this position. Same thing, if the dent was real low, I'm going to keep it up high. If the dent is really high, then obviously I'm going to put my suction cup down low, flip the board up, make sure this is facing down or making sure that's facing up, which is this part right here, this top part right there. Okay, does that make sense? So that's how I properly set up my board. Now, as far as the way it looks, right? I want to bring this down just a bit more. It'll come down, right? And I'm going to move my board, bring it in. Right, so this is a proper way, probably way to look at it right here. If I wanted less detail, right, so I have like, I can pick up the orange peel, I'm seeing the dent, pretty good. That's how I want to look at it. Beginners, what they do is they put it too close, right? You can still see the dent. However, you're not going to see your tooltip very well coming into the dent. Or what happens is you can't see it at all, so you're looking for the movement on the dent, and then you're making high spots before you even get to the dent. That's a big mistake. So the proper way is move the board back further, and also tilt the board. You see how I'm tilting the board? As I tilt the board, I'm basically having 1/8" lines replication. Right? It's making it look like it's 1/8" lines, maybe even 1/16 of inch lines. That might be a little bit too hard to see sometimes, but you can see a reflection of your tooltip, and I'll make a demonstration about that, okay? Let's do that. Let me put this together. Slide this in, right? And I can see my tip real quick. Look at it. And I got tape on it. So you can see it's up there, right there. Look at the pinch. I let go. Look at the pinch. You can see it pinch. Watch this if I put the board in too close. Look how much harder it is to see your tip. You barely see it. I'm doing the same amount of pressure. You can barely see the pinch right here. Oops, right there. I'm showing you. Look at now. Watch this. I'm going to hold the pressure. I'm keeping holding it, so you're not playing any games, right? Do you see the difference? Why you want thinner lines instead of thick, or you set up your board. Now I can see that tip much easier. But again, don't set your board up too close because you won't see the tooltip, and by that time you probably made 5 to 10, maybe 15 pokes before you got to the dent, and you pull it back, you're like, oh my gosh, I got all these high spots. So this is a lesson on how to set up your board properly, the reason why you're looking at your lines the way they do, the difference between 1/8 inch and 1/4 inch. If you want, I can just quickly set up a board wherever I put it. Let me see if I got it right here. I'm just do a replication of that. And actually, you're gonna like this one too. So you guys who wanna learn both lines and fog, right, we can switch this light out. Actually, let me turn it this way for now. Flip this out. Put 1/8 inch lines and a fog, right? So now you got 1/8 inch lines, right? Super easy. I prefer 1/8 inch lines over 1/4 inch lines if you ask me. And so now you can do your fog. This isn't properly set. Oh, hold on. Let's see if I can set this up the way I would set this up. All right. Okay, now we got your fog. Now I'll probably have to like play with the aperture to get it down, not aperture, but the camera settings, just so you can get a little bit more definition in the fog. Okay, this is a really good light for cross-chaining yourself if you want to learn fog and lines. Personally, that's the way I like to look at it, okay? So again, I'll do this. I'm gonna move this back up because that's the way I have it. So these are 1/8 inch lines, right? And I'm gonna take this off just again, so you guys can see. And we'll put 1/4 inch lines. I'll read some questions in a second, okay? Just bear with me and let me, because we're not gonna do, and that's, now you see the difference between 1/8 inch and 1/4 inch. You can still, look, you can still play with it, get the 1/8 inch reflection, you just have to move that board way out. You see how it's more outward? And that's how I look at it. Now, far as placing the board, you want to place the board right over that dent. And the black, see the black going right through it, the dark line going right through it. Looks like owl's eyes, right? Now, when it's really deep, you'll see owl's eyes have rings around it, like it didn't have any sleep, right? But right now, just a normal owl's eye. And that means it's basically a soft dent. It's not super deep. Now, the big difference between pushing, why you want to push with this tool, the Door Lord, I get lots of questions, what tool should I get? And the number one thing I recommend, one of the first tools is a Door Lord. And the second tool would be a screw-on tooltip. And the third one would be a whale tail. And that's pretty much as far as the tools you need. So if you're a beginner, if you're a technician who's struggling, understand how to finish, understand how to look at your board, what tools should you use, how to use them, check out denttrainer.com. I am having online live PDR training in spring. And I think you guys will really like it because I'm gonna say it straight up, I don't think there's anybody more passionate than training than myself, who helps you understand the fundamentals and helps you really get the gist of it. It's not gonna be something that you've probably seen before, very similar to what I'm doing right now, but a lot more in depth, more detail, things that make sense to you. So that is just a little bit some insight. If you want more information, go to denttrainer.com, sign up for the email list, be some of the first people to know, actually be the first person, because I'm going to email blast it all out when it's released or when it's coming. So let me answer some questions, and maybe we'll have some time to do a little demo. Maybe not. I'm on a short little time limit here. So let me go check you guys out here. All right, so what is going on? Hands, okay, I'm gonna make sure I don't skip anybody here. Okay. Are you doing cold glue pulling or hot glue pulling? I'm actually doing both. So yeah, I do a lot of both. And a lot of technicians do a combination of both. Gilbert, thanks, man. Appreciate that, buddy. Sarah, appreciate that too as well. Okay, so Hans always got some good questions. Hello, Mike. I'm going to go do some collision repair on Amazon vehicles, and they want everything glue pulled. Which would you recommend, the Kiko LT or the Cam Auto Elite GPR set if you could only get one? Well, it's a good, tight question, man. Okay. First of all, let me give you some advice on Amazon. There is nothing but train wrecks over there. I've had numerous opportunities with Amazon, so be careful. It's good practice on your collision work. Listen, man, I work with both Kiko and Cam Auto. It's a flip, okay? They both are extremely high-end glue pulling companies. You can't go wrong with either or. So I'm sorry I'm not giving you a direct answer saying like you should choose one or the other. I don't think literally you can go wrong with either or. So it's just based on what you feel comfortable with, what tools and applications you like. And I think it's all going to be based on customer service, tools available, and do you like the product itself. So, but I like them all. I use them constantly in almost every other video when it comes to, glue pulling, collision repair. Okay, you're welcome. What's up, Mr. Cardence? Eddie, thanks, man. Okay, appreciate that too, guys. Just want to see if, okay. Single bend, double bend, whale tail. That's right. So that is true. I don't have the tools right in front of me. Listen, I do a lot of training tutorials, and I'm telling you, if I'm going to train people and I was only to give them 3 tools, those are the tools I'd give them. Because listen, you don't need 40 tools or 20 tools, 15 tools. You have to get good at one at a time, right? Those 3 tools are going to keep you busy and efficient, and you could practice on those 3 tools on the quarter panel, the door, the trunk, the roof. You could practice almost every other panel on those tools. Okay. Like, what point would you dim the light when you're about to do the finish work? Oh, that's a good question. I didn't have that. I never dim the light. It is a preference thing depending on how sensitive your eyes are. So you can dim it. I personally, when I use fog, I use the warm because it's much easier on my eyes. Cool is a little bit too aggressively bright for me. But when it comes to the lines, I want it bright because a lot of the lines actually keep the glare off of my eyes. So if that answers your question or whatnot. So. Okay, and that's what point. Okay, so it looks like that is about it, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate that. I'm not going to do a demo. I don't have time because I know myself. I'm going to get into it, and it's going to get a little long. But look, I got plenty of demos coming and lots of other videos. Let me know what you guys think, and stay tuned for a live Q&A on Dent Trainer. We're going to do a crease, a longer crease. I'm going to show you the difference between doing it for glue pulling and one for pushing. Which one comes out better? Which one comes out faster? You be the judge. I'll talk to you guys later. Hope you guys have a good night and a good morning wherever you're at. Take care.